Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to turn myself up. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to be here with all of you on this Shabbat. So let us sing in this Shabbat together with a nigun, a song without words, except that the words will be on the screen. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai ya la 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 la, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai ya la 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 la, yai lai 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 ya la la la, yai lai 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 ya la la la, ya la la ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la la, yai lai lai lai, yai la la la, yai lai ya la 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 la, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai ya la 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 la, yai lai 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 lai, ya la la la, yai lai lai lai, ya la la la, yai lai lai ya la la, ya la 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 la, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai. Shabbat Shalom. It is truly wonderful to be here with so many of you on this Shabbat here for our Independence Day Shabarbecue. It also happens to be Canada Day, but that's not the reason we're here. The main reason we're here is to bring in Shabbat together. Shabbat is an island of peace and comfort and calm in a world that is chaotic and strange so much of the time. A chance for us to simply be together in sacred community, to raise our voices in song or prayer in whatever ways we feel comfortable, and more importantly, just to be here. For those of you joining us from home, we feel you here with us. We here at Congregation Schaarai Zedek truly believe that when you participate in our service from your home becomes an extension of our sanctuary. Thank you for being here and contributing your Shabbat spirit to this wonderful Shabbat. Said the word Shabbat a lot. And Canada Day. I will say you may have seen Rabbi Simon here in his civilian clothes. He and Judd Neva are here participating in the congregation, which I know for a rabbi is a rare and relieving opportunity. It's nice to get to bask in the community that you're a part of building. For those of you in the room, you will find something under the seat in front of you. It is not a new car, it is a prayer book. All of the prayers you'll need will be on the screen in front of you, but if you'd like to have something to page through, to follow along with, to hold in your hands instead of your phones, which I would remind you we should turn off or silence, then that is a great way to do that. If there are going to be times during the service where you are asked to stand. If that is uncomfortable for you, please feel free to remain seated. We know that you will be standing in your heart. And I know we have a lot of people here tonight in all different ages and stages. We are so happy to have little people here making little people noises. The thing that we're concerned about is when big people start making little people noises. So just know that whatever is going on in here, it is adding to the music of our prayer, and I hope that you'll add your voice to that music as well. All of that being said, it is time for us to truly welcome in Shabbat with the blessings over our Shabbat candles and our Kiddush wine, and to share our blessings for us, we are going to invite up the Kleins, Tracy, Dan, Addison, and Sydney. Well, come on up, everybody. And Tracy, of course, is a constant presence here at the temple. We're so nice to have you up on the bima tonight.
I take the microphone. Okay. All right. English first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Do it together?
Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Want to do the English?
We'll do it together.
Do it together, guys.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. And we sing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Go ahead, girls. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who, finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the Holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your Holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Borei Pri Hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Pri Hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit kibu yom tefillah lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziyat Mitzrayim kibanu v'acharta v'sanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat. Amen. L'chaim. You can all take a sip if you want,
I'm good.
or you don't have to. That's all right. Well, thank you guys so much for helping us welcome in Shabbat. And we will begin our service by welcoming each other. Hinei ma tovu manayim shevet achim kam yachad. How good it is for us to be together, all of us, on this day. Join in if you know the words. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim kam yachad. Hinei ma tov umanayim shevet achim kam yachad. Hinei ma tov how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Let's read together. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we are reminded that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We rise in our places or in our hearts for the Baruch, our call to worship. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, 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 yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. And as we come to the Shema, I invite you, if you so choose, to cover your eyes to create a private moment between you and the divine, even as we are surrounded by so many loving people. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Adonai et Yaakov, ugialo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Let's read together. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. We'll sing together Vishamru. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, u'bayom ha-shavi'i Shabbat, Shabbat vayinafash, vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We rise now in our places or in our hearts for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei hakol, Ve'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, Umevi geula livnei vneihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia. Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. And we are seated. Let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim I invite us all now to take a moment for silent prayer, if not to completely silence the room, but to find some quiet in our minds and hearts. shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Oh, la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. At this time in the presence of our sacred community that we think of those who lie on beds of pain, those in need of healing in mind, body, and spirit, those ailing from COVID-19 or its after effects, those of us living in fear, uncertainty, and loneliness. If you have someone that you're thinking of at this time, please hold their name tightly in your heart right at this moment. And then plan on giving them a call or a text or an email after services. So with all of those names in our hearts and the song in our hearts, if not on the screen, we will join together in singing our prayer for healing, Misha Beirach. Misha Beirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing. Misha Beirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So just in case you didn't know, I am just a couple of days, I've just been a couple days here back from vacation in Canada, visiting my parents. And while I was up north, did I miss anything? Anything happen in the last month? So I'm just glad to be here in time for our big Canada Day celebration. Oh, I'm being told we're celebrating America's Independence Day. That's a good one, too. As we approach July 4th, I've actually been thinking a lot about one of the founding fathers of our country. You probably have something with his face on it in your wallet. I'm speaking, of course, of George Washington, Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War and the first president of the United States of America. But I have a feeling we all know that already. Now, something my brother reminded me of today is that none of our mythic heroes are perfect role models. Even Moses had his flaws. And Washington, a product of his time, like most founders of our country, owned human beings as slaves. History is messy and complicated, and we do ourselves a disservice. We do ourselves and our ancestors a disservice when we sanitize it, but that's not the point of this sermon. I'd actually like to draw our attention to one of George Washington's most remarkable acts, something he did that has been very rare in the course of human history. At the end of the Revolutionary War, having commanded the army that defeated the world's strongest empire, Washington may have been one of the most well-known and liked people on the planet at the time. He was at the height of popularity and power, with a new nation and all of its forces arrayed before him, ready to do his bidding. And what did he decide to do? He gave it up. He stepped down and retired to his home and did carpentry or something. As he stated in his address to Congress before his resignation, happy in the confirmation of our independence and sovereignty, and pleased with the opportunity afforded the United States of becoming a respectable nation, I resign with satisfaction the appointment I accepted with diffidence. His job was done. Except it wasn't, because he was then offered the presidency, and he, of course, accepted, but stepped down after 2 terms, fearful that if he died in office, others would perceive the presidency as a lifetime appointment. Really ask yourself if you could do the same thing. With all of that power in your hands, would you really be able to give it up? Well, it is this act that made King George III call George Washington one of the best men on the planet. And that guy just kicked his butt. So in giving up power twice, George Washington set an example that shaped the future of our country. He understood that true leadership meant swearing loyalty to higher values rather than enriching oneself or entrenching one's position as leader. He did not want to set himself up as another king or tyrant. Our Torah portion, Korach, from the book of Numbers, forces us to ask questions about leadership and power, as the titular Korach leads a rebellion of Israelites in rising up against Moses. Korach and his hype men confront Moses, God's chosen prophet, and Aaron, the high priest, in public, railing against them. All within this community are holy because God dwells among them. Why do you raise yourself above God's community? Moses then proposes a test, as one did in those days. Korach and his people, and Aaron and the priests, would offer incense at the tent of meeting, and God would decide who was in charge. The 2 sides prepared their sacrifices, and as Korach offered his, a chasm opened up beneath him and his people, the earth swallowing all of them whole. Needless to say, Korach lost. Now, as readers, we all know the outcome of the story. But when you listen to Korach, his point might make a little bit of sense. All of God's people are holy. They should all have access to God in similar ways. But our commentators suggest that behind Korach's egalitarian rhetoric was bad intention. Indeed, his criticisms of Moses and Aaron, that they set themselves above the community, suggest that he misunderstood what their roles were. The rabbis tell us that Korach's understanding of leadership seemed to be about placing oneself above, about having power over others, enriching themselves at their expense. In other words, Korach wanted to be a big shot, and who doesn't in their idle fantasies? But Moses understood leadership differently. Robert K. Greenleaf, a 20th century thinker, posited the concept of servant leadership, which states that a leader is the servant of those he leads. They lead. Of course, in Jewish tradition, all are servants of God, meaning that any leader is on equal terms with those whom they lead, offering them wisdom and guidance. Being in a position of power is the chance to serve, and almost as a rule, the great leaders of the Jewish people are those who are reluctant to take on the job. As Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks once put it, leadership as power, dominance, master, or rule has no place in Judaism. To the contrary, the greatest achievement of a leader is to have served God and helped others to do so. And every once in a while, we come across a leader who seeks to enthrone themselves and who would use their power to protect themselves from their responsibility to their fellow human beings. And when this happens, as so often happens in human history, it is our job to stand up. Not like Korah, who simply wanted to take power for himself, but there are times when a community must stand up to its leaders to ensure that they properly represent them. There are times that we must remind our leaders what higher values they are meant to serve, where we must help them learn from the example of our nation's first president, who refused to worship at the altar of power, and from Moses, who served with humility and sowed the seeds for those who would lead beyond his lifetime. The country in which we live, these United States, a nation so often a leader to the world, can be that city on the hill that we imagine, a shining example of equality and collective responsibility, of human dignity, of freedom in the truest sense. But this can only happen when we and our leaders work in tandem to bring about peace, to repair our broken world. Let us show our leaders the way through the choices we make in our own lives, sending a strong message through radical acts of kindness and empathy, mutual aid and nurturing. Then we, our community, our leaders, and our nation will be a blessing to this world. May this be your will, God, and may it be ours. Shabbat Shalom. Well, we have announcements. But if I were to announce everything, we would be here until next Shabbat. So I'll just say there is Torah study tomorrow morning. It says Zoom only in the program. It says Zoom and in person on the website. We will be here because security will be here anyway. So feel free to join us here in person for Torah study. Feel free to join us on Zoom, whether you're camera ready or not. We would love to have you. Look out for our Romeo's lunch next Thursday at noon. We have a bagel minion next Shabbat if you want to start thinking about that. But really, anything else that you need, you'll find at www.zedek.org, which I hope is your homepage by now, because that is where all of the hip happening news can be found on the web zones. And so, it is at this time that we will begin to conclude our service with Aleinu. We rise in our places or in our hearts. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gdula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, vayom hahu Shemo, Ushemo Echad. And we are seated. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. At this time, we think of those in our lives who are no longer with us in body, but who remain with us through the love that they gave so generously and the wisdom that they shared. On this Shabbat, we remember those who have recently been laid to rest: Melvin Gordon, James Roel, Audrey Haubenstock, Ray Israeloff, Glenda Bloom, Phyllis Borel, Allison Fine Parnell, and we remember Lauren Kahn, who is to be laid to rest. We also think of those whose yahrzeits, the memorials of whose deaths we commemorate on the Shabbat: Leo Abram, Louis Atkins, Bert Beer, Naomi Berlin, Philip Bernstein, Charles Cherry, Maxine Conan, Helene Daniels, George Dickman, Mary Gersten, George Getz, Louis Greenberg, Dr. Stephen Gleckler, Richard Greenberg, Harold Hanno, Saul Haubenstock, Bobby Carpe, Louise Kotler, Ruth Lasday, Esther Lazarus, Selma Levy, Arlene Lieberman, Pauline Lynn, Morris Mackless, Yetta Modelinsky, John Miroff, Carol Peckett, David Prentice, Fanny Rachelson, Ray Rosenberg, Selma Roth, Winston Rowntree, Ethel Shaken, Roberta Silver, Robert Silvers, Ann Simmons, Howard Spahn, Sarah Spector, Haskell Stumer, Bessie Schwartzman, Harry Swick, Saul Tannenbaum, Ellie Wiesel, and Dorothy Zaleski. And to those names, we add the names of all of our loved ones, those who always live on in our hearts. If you have someone you're thinking of on this evening, I invite you to take just a brief moment to remember them in their strongest, brightest, and kindest moments. And we take love and memory and entwine them to offer the ancient words of the mourner's Kaddish. We rise as a community. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divarach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together. And we'll close our service singing Ma Yafeh Hayom. How beautiful is this day, Shabbat being a reminder how wonderful this whole world can be when we all work together. May every day be as beautiful as this Shabbat. Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom. shalom, Maya ve'ayom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. And now we have, we will invite up our young people. I've been told anyone under the age of 18 is invited up to have some of our delicious challah. Love for you to come up. It is already cut into pieces, so you will not need to tear into it. Maybe there are hygiene issues there, but my friend, would you mind holding this? All right. Rose, would you mind uncovering the challah? With a flourish. There you go. So let's sing our motzi so that all of these fine young people can get their challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Say B'tei Avon Shabbat Shalom, Shabarbecue Shalom, Yom Canada Sameach. Thank you all for being here. It has been a lovely Shabbat. You can all eat now.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו
הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ. הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ. הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ. Break into song. Pitru, ranenu, ranenu. Pitru, ranenu, zameru, zameru. Break into song. Break into song. Break into song. Break into song. Ki tov Adonai leolam chazdo. Ki tov Adonai leolam chazdo. Ki tov Adonai leolam chazdo. Break into song. Hariyu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Hariyu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Hariyu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Break into song.
הללו את אדוני מן השמיים, הללו במרומים, הללו כל מלאכיו, הללו כל צבאיו, הללו שמש וירח, הללו כל כוכבי אור, הללו שמי השמיים והמים אשר מעל השמיים. יהללו את שם אדוני כי הוא ציווה ונבראו, ויעמידם לעד לעולם, חוק נתן ולא יעבור. יהללו את שם אדוני כי הוא ציווה ונבראו, ויעמידם לעד לעולם, אשר מעל השמיים והמים אשר מעל השמיים והמים אשר מעל השמיים יהללו את שם אדוני כי הוא ציווה ונבראו ויעמידם לעד לעולם חוק נתן ולא יעבור יהללו את שם אדוני כי הוא ציווה ונבראו ויעמידם לעד לעולם חוק נתן הגוזלים שלי עזבו את הקן, פרסו כנפיים ועפו, ואני ציפור זקנה נשארתי בקן, מקווה מאוד שהכל יהיה בסדר. תמיד ידעתי שיבוא היום שבו צריך להיפרד, אבל עכשיו זה ככה בא לי פתאום, אז מה הפלא שאני קצת דואג? גוף גוזל חתוך את השמיים, טוס לאן שבא לך, רק אל תשכח, יש נשר בשמיים, גור לך. עכשיו נשארנו לבדנו בקן, אבל אנחנו ביחד. חבקי אותי חזק, תגידי לי כן, אל תדאגי, ביחד כיף להזדקן. גוף גוזל חתוך את השמיים, טוס לאן שבא לך, רק אל תשכח, יש נשר בשמיים, גור לך. אני יודע שככה זה בטבע, וגם אני עזבתי, כן, אבל עכשיו כשבא הרגע אז מחניק קצת בגרון, מחניק קצת בגרון. Shall ישמר השבת, אל ישמרני. אותי לעולמי עד ונורני, כי אשמר השבת, אל ישמרני. אותי לעולמי עד ונורני.
This is a song for the doubting.
And this is a song for the scared.
This is a song for the thoughts that keep you up at night, when you just need to be spared. This is a song for the women.
And this is a song for the men.
This is a song for the long and slow drive away from the day and its quick descent. Hey, 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 Venu Shalom Aleichem. Hey, Venu Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. These are the times for the restless,
And these are the times that stand still.
these are the times that will pass and you'll awake to find your cup suddenly filled. These are the times for the skeptics,
And the times for the devout.
these are the times for the ones who will believe. It's belief they can't live without. Hey, 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 Venu Shalom Aleichem. Hey, Venu Shalom, Shalom
This is a song for the sea.
This is a song for the ones who will believe. For the ones who will believe. For the ones who will believe. For the ones who will believe.
Let us sing out to God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. Lehuneranena, yai lai 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 lai, la Adonai, yai lai 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 lai, la Aria, yai lai 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 lai, Litzur Yishenu, yai lai 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 lai. For all of the wonders and all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts